away from them in the opponent's half, and they created stuff. First half, they could have had more goals. There's no doubt about that.
Well, pretty impressive statistics for a side going away to Juventus, of course, twice finalists in the last 3 years. It's an astonishing effort, really, for Tottenham. Have they come of age?
Yeah, they have, and I think if you bear in mind the last few games they've had against the best of the Premier League, and they've been fantastic. Beat Arsenal, beat Manchester United, 2-2 draw, impressive draw against Liverpool, and then here, go away in Turin, huge result, confidence at an all-time high at the moment.
OK, we'll hear more from you very shortly, but let's bring you right up to date with events in Basel, where Manchester City have cruised to yet another victory. Their magnificent season Gundogan there scored 2 of Manchester City's goals. The second one was very special. Bernardo Silva was also on the score sheet, as was, of course, Sergio Aguero. So Manchester City cruising through, it seems, to the quarter-finals. Another fine victory for Pep Guardiola's team. So a draw for Tottenham, a victory for Manchester City tonight. We're back tomorrow with 2 more cracking Champions League matches on BT Sport. Porto hosts Liverpool here on BT Sport 2. And in Madrid, a game that could have been the final. The holders and 12 times winners Real Madrid welcome Paris Saint-Germain on BT Sport 3. Coverage starts on both channels and also on the BT Sport app from 7 o'clock. What a night it's been. It finished Juventus 2, Tottenham 2. All the analysis with Rio, Stephen and Glenn to come after the break. And there's much to talk about. Tottenham were 2 down in 10 minutes, but back they came. First with Harry Kane in the first half. And then in the second half, it was Christian Eriksen's free kick that gave Tottenham an invaluable away draw to Juventus. Not Buffon's best night. And we can hear from both goal scorers there with Des Kelly from behind like that.
Yeah, and I think we've all been there where you got a goal down at a place like Turin, where the atmosphere, history of the place, and there's panic. And you look around for help and you think, who's going to get us out of this? But they all seem to a man calm, cool, collected, understood the game plan and just carried it out, and that maturity is a big leap forward, I think, for this Tottenham team.
And it's almost like they came of age in some ways.
Yeah, not just as a team, I think individuals did as well. You mean the performance of them two in the interview, Eriksen and Kane. Dele Alli was productive in terms of being involved in the 2 games. I thought Dembele's performance was magnificent. I can't remember him putting in a performance like that on that stage. I thought he was terrific all night.
He's been in great form the last couple of weeks, few weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was awesome, wasn't he?
Against Arsenal again.
Arsenal. But I think Ben Davies gives the penalty away, the second goal, and he must have been feeling dreadful, and it summarises Tottenham's performance. He went on and had a really steady game. He kept coming forward, he was putting balls in, he was keeping the ball, doing his defensive duty. Now, they could have caved in. Individuals could have caved in, but they didn't. And I think that's as good as I've seen Tottenham against that opposition for a very long time. The fact that they took the ball away from Juve at that moment, at 2-0 down, you can be lucky and get a set play, but they absolutely just took the ball away.
The last 80 minutes, they won 2-0. Let's remind ourselves, possibly the first 10 minutes. It started with Higuain's first goal. Terrific finish. Came from a free kick. We think it was just a tad offside, but...
Yeah, it maybe was, but I mean, it was cute play from the Juventus team. They get a free kick here. Pjanic, a hugely talented player. Great ball. The defensive line was all over the place, really. They started as a shambles of the first minute, really, this Spurs team, and were punished with a great, unbelievable finish from Higuain, who's a devastating finisher.
He is offside, though,
yeah,
isn't
he is, yeah.
That's what you want. Where's VAR when you need it?
Where's VAR? Yeah. Too far away.
Yeah, great finish, though, isn't it? Wonderful finish.
But it certainly was. And to add insult to injury, Higuain then had a penalty. Obviously, it was a rash challenge, or more of a clumsy challenge. I didn't really know where he was, Ben Davies, did he?
Yeah, I think he just needs to open his body out as he sees the crosses come in, try and open your body out and see where the other man is. But he just has a swipe, and it's a bit rash, and it's a definite penalty. Yeah, but he just doesn't see the man coming, so you feel a bit sorry for him. But you know, there's nothing you can do. The referee has to give a penalty in that circumstance.
Yeah.
I think this is where Spurs rode their luck. This is a defining moment of the game. This is on the whistle here.
Yeah.
Keeper could do better.
Yeah, for me, I think that's at a nice height for the keeper. He's got to do better for me.
You almost forget, don't you, that they ended up having another penalty just before half-time.
I think that's what I was mentioning before.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And then Harry Kane, though. He had 1 or 2 chances in the first half and he was involved in a penalty shout, but there again.
But like he says, though, I thought it was a penalty at first look. The lads didn't agree with me in there. But like he said, he had a chance. He should have scored a header before that. But the great thing about him, he'll keep trying. This is the chance he should have scored. Yeah. And some players, they get head down and start shying away from getting into positions and taking chances.
What a ball that was from Eriksen.
Yeah, top draw.
You wonder whether there's a foul there, Eriksen's challenge, but look at this. Buffon makes it easy for him, but under that pressure, you're 2-0 down and you need to get back in the game.
Pressure?
What
Pressure?
Exactly, he doesn't see it.
After you've missed the chance.
And he's wider than I thought. He's really going out away from the goals.
But the great strikers want another chance to put the other one behind them.
Yeah, they don't worry about it, do they?
Yeah. No,
well, you didn't.
I remember. There's 7 goals in this year's competition. Equalled your record that you had no idea you had, Steve.
No,
for English players in the Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about this man? I mean, we were speaking about him off camera, who you compare him against, and he's up there with the very best. For me,
I think he's ahead. There's 9 games he's had in the Champions League. He's ahead of anyone else after 9 games in the Champions League.
Except for Ronaldo.
And he hasn't had too many... No, in the 9 games since his age, on the age situation.
Oh, sorry.
So I think he's ahead of all them players. And that's an incredible stat when he's only had 2 years' experience of Champions League as well.
Yeah,
he is truly remarkable. Juventus had their moments as well, of course, in the game, particularly the aforementioned penalty that hit the bar at a moment of madness, really, from Aurier.
Yeah, it was stupid defending, clumsy, struggling, and he let him get in behind him, great pace, but this would have been changing of the game, really. And I think this is on the whistle at half-time. If he scores that, it's a different team talk at half-time, a different mentality. But it wasn't to be.
This is an excellent save. Excellent save. Ben Davies maybe should have showed him down on his weak foot, but once he cuts inside, he hits it with such venom, and Lloris pulls a world-class save off.
Yeah, they look dangerous from set plays as well all night, actually. Yeah. I mean, that went straight down Lloris's throat there. If it goes to the right or left, that's another effort. But
when you're in the home of Juventus, you've got to expect some kind of pressure, I suppose.
You've got to ride your luck. These games, you've got to expect that it's going to be under pressure at times. They're going to create chances in the home ground, and you've got to have a little bit of luck to be able to come out there with something, and they rode that.
The Eriksen free kick, Stevie. Goalkeeper at fault, it's his side.
I think for someone of Buffon's class and experience, it's definitely a goalkeeper error. But I think you've got to give Christian Eriksen a bit of,
Oh, it's a terrifically struck free kick.
If you see Buffon, he goes. I think Lamela. I think he thought for a second the left footer was going to take it. Look, he goes and he moves across, and that's where Eriksen's caught him out. Lovely. So Lamela's got to play a little bit of a part in that, and Buffon, being the age that he is, I think he was trying to sneak across a bit and go early.
I suppose age has to catch up on someone like that eventually, even Buffon.
Difficult to criticise, a man and a goalkeeper who's done what he's done, but he is going to age. He's getting down that little bit slower. He's moving across a little bit slower, and Tottenham found him out tonight on a couple of occasions.
There you go, another look at it. Just pulls onto his left side, doesn't he? Huge goal, of course, for Tottenham at that stage.
Well,
2-2, they're favourites now, aren't they?
They deserved it. Oh, of course, I think so. Because of the way they played, Gary.
Yeah.
If it was a 2-2 and you think, 2 set plays, got away with that, got pounded, they've hit the bar, No, they were in total control. They'll go to Wembley thinking, same again. And I tell you what, I think Allegri will be a little bit worried, more than Pochettino.
Have you known a Spurs team in recent years to be as confident as this team right now?
No.
It's unbelievable.
I think they've got the balance of the defence. They know they can go and attack those 4 up top and the fullbacks. They've got a solid base. Dembele doesn't come out of there, does he? And they've got the whatever the centre-backs are, they're solid. They've got a really good defensive base. And in Champions League, you've got to have that.
No more Spursy.
Where did that go? I've never heard that before.
I've heard that one.
Des Kelly. We'll have to ask him later on. But I suppose going back to Wembley, the other thing is, of course, now they've been playing at Wembley enough that they've got confidence of a home ground now, which they perhaps didn't have at the start of the season?
Yeah, I think they're playing better there. They're playing with confidence. You know, the performances in the last few weeks have been sensational.
Yeah.
I think you just can't write Juventus off because of their experience and their know-how in the competition. They've got players coming back from injury soon, so you'd expect them to put in a better performance than they did tonight, because I was disappointed in them. You know, the build that we give them before the game.
Yeah, very true. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, we'll have highlights of Manchester City's trip to Basel. But next, more reaction from Turin as Tottenham came from 2 goals down to draw 2-2 with Juventus. And we'll try and speak with Maurizio Pochettino when we come back. Arsenal, of course, lost there at the weekend, and on Thursday we'll be with them in Sweden as they take on Östersund in the early game that starts from 5:30 on BT Sport 3. Celtic play Zenit in the later game at 7:30. That's on BT Sport 2 and in 4K. And all the highlights follow that game at 10:15. Let's get back to Turin, where we can hear from Maurizio Pochettino, or Maurizio as he's known by his mates. He's with Des. Deserves great credit, I think.
Oh, without a doubt, with what he's done there and the run of games that we've had, you know, that you've seen them play so well. He said there he was disappointed that they didn't win the game. And that's the standard that he's set. And he's right, in a respectful way, he said, because we're better than them.
Yeah.
And that says a lot, doesn't
I think
it?
after 10 minutes, it'd have taken 2-2.
I don't know, that's where the response, we're all waiting to see the response, and that's where I thought they were brilliant tonight.
Yeah.
The way they responded, and they just kept playing.
Yeah.
This is the way we play. No panic, we're not going to go long, we'll pass out from the back and play through the pitch. And in the end, Juventus didn't have any answers for them.
And the other thing they did, the high press they did, particularly perhaps in the second half, when you start to expect perhaps players to get tired, Steve.
Yeah, well, this is what Spurs are all about, and this is the philosophy that this manager's brought in. It's aggressive, the press. They all go together. They get right in your face. And they've forced an absolute top team to go long on their own patch, which is a credit to not just how good they were in possession tonight, how good they were out of possession as well. You know, they have players between the lines getting in excellent positions. Eriksen knitted it all together, but as soon as they lost the ball, look how aggressive the press is. Yeah. And they forced good players into big mistakes.
I think what happens as well, if you're a good side that keep the ball, and you lose the ball in the last third, in the attacking third, it's not as tiring as people think, because you're already there. If you keep losing it in the middle or at the back, the game gets stretched. But they're working the angles like they did all day, and they're losing it, and so they're close to them to press them. So they're only running 10 yards each because they're losing the ball in the last third.
And you can tell that the way that he's drilled them on a training pitch, the time, the effort that he's put into
What's
this.
What's the dangerous side of that? Is if teams break through.
Well, when we start going through the levels of teams they could come up against, if they get through this level, then you're playing against the PSGs maybe, the Barcelonas with the Messis and the Cristianos at Real Madrid. If them teams break the press, then you're in a problem, because they've got players.
It is Juventus.
Well,
they ain't bad.
Yeah, but Dybala, their best player, is not playing.
Good point.
The last time they come unstuck was at City. They pressed City, and they beat the press and they got through and they got hammered.
Exactly. Christian Eriksen's night. I mean, he scored the equalising goal, of course. He had 100 touches. Only Dembele had more, who we eulogised about earlier on. But significant performance.
What I liked about today is that he took the mantle of being the man with the responsibility to create the openings. And I think that's been something that's been lacking. Whenever we've watched him in big games in the Premier League, that's an exquisite ball.
That's an unbelievable pass. The vision and the delivery to drop it in that space. And the confidence of the player shooting from 30 yards on your left side.
Yeah. That's the best game I've seen him play against top quality.
Yeah.
He's been very, very good against some of the mid-table teams in the world. This is top quality, and he's been outstanding tonight.
He's done it for his country when they've needed him to drag them through to tournaments, but for Spurs, this may be coming of age of him for tonight, and a big game like this being at the centre of every good piece of football for this Spurs team, off both feet as well. That's confidence.
There's a bit of cleverness as well, you know, just waiting for Buffon to take that little tiny move to the left, you know, and trying to double bluff the goalkeeper, if you like.
But I think the manager has to take credit. I think, as I said, we're seeing so many players. Dembele, I mean, he was a player that people were saying, oh, he doesn't create enough, he doesn't do enough of this or that, doesn't score. He's been withdrawn into a deeper role
Yeah.
to dictate the tempo of a game, and he's doing it better than anyone at the
You
moment.
don't see many players as strong, physically strong on
And
the
he goes
ball, do you?
past people.
And he's clever, isn't he?
If you get on the back of somebody, 1v1, you're on the back of him, then you open the space up. Someone else has got to come to you, then your Ericsson gets your space.
A quick look at Tottenham's fixtures before they face Juventus in the second leg in 3 weeks' time. Rochdale, obviously, in the Cup on Sunday, and then Palace and Huddersfield. So if they could, they could conceivably, you would fancy them in those games, really. They'll be favourites to win all three.
On paper, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is the test, because they've come through a 2 or 3 week period playing big teams where you don't really have to motivate yourself as an individual or as a team. But can they get up for Rochdale as well? Because they struggled at Newport a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, they did.
And then can they go to Palace and get 3 big points? It's a big test for them.
Palace, funny enough, at home at Wembley, and they struggled. They won 1-0 after Real Madrid. After beating Real Madrid, they had Palace again. So that's their next league game is a real big test for them.
OK.